Okay, so I know you can't see it, but I have all kinds of little dibs and blobs and all kinds of little stuff over here. I can feel it as I'm actually running my fingers over it. It's kind of got a feel of the old-fashioned feel of rubber cement. So as I'm working with it, as I'm working more colors in, I do need to be aware and not like really try to overwork the area, not try to work it real hard because I don't want to rub it off. But I know it's there. I know it's there. So yeah, I worked the whole area, worked all this up in here, all little dabs here, and all the way over on this side and all up in here. So there's all kinds of little dabs in through here. Now, what this does is it saves what's underneath of it. So all these colors that are here is going to be saved. So as I put more stuff over the top of it, and then as that dries, and I put more dabs on and make it darker and darker, it will save what's already there. So this is going to be a little bit of an experiment to see how well this works and how it comes out. So let me get my image up and see where we want to go working from here. Okay, so let's see, we got this section here, and so we've got this mound here, and let's see, kind of have a break right here. That's dark green here, and it comes up to a point here. Oops, or I don't know if you saw that or not, but I kind of pulled one off already. So don't want to pull off too many there. Yeah, I find that's the problem about having my images actually on my phone, is that I find that because I'm constantly struggling to turn my phone back on, I'm constantly losing track of where I'm at, and that can be a problem. So that's why I tend to like to print out my images. So that's one thing to keep an eye on and think about as you're working. So up this way. Thinking about how this is supposed to be going. And just following the lines of how this is structured. Oh, the rain's coming again. And don't try to generalize it, because when you generalize these things, that's when you start losing all your really nice details as to how things go, and then that's when things go wrong. You start losing those details. Okay, so back over here on this side. So let's see, we've got this side here, and then we've got that. I need to sharpen my pencil again. So I'm coming in and I'm actually bringing down the dark into some of these light areas to help kind of break up this this solid space up here so that it doesn't look quite so blocky, like a solid mass. Okay, and then darken this in underneath here. Always thinking about if the light is hitting up here, then of course the darkness is going to be down in this area here. Okay, and if this is my darkest area here, and I've got this so dark here, then this is going to have to be like even more darker than this is. So this is really going to have to be darkened down eventually. So I'm really going to have to think about how to darken this area down. And remember, these areas here and all of this area down in here and even this here, these will have reflections in them also. So, you know, while you know, there's a lot of blue water in here right now, eventually it will have, you know, more going on in the reflections. So that'll be, you know, it'll pull the landscape more into the water. So it'll be a little bit more delete. Working quickly, working with power too when you're making grass. Okay, holding it firmly, working with good power strokes, especially when you're far back into this area, because you don't have to have, you know, as much detail. Do need to keep coming back to your reference photos though, to make sure you know where you're at and what you're doing. You don't want to lose where your details are at. I'm thinking my hand is kind of hiding what's going on now. Now, I know that I've got the frisket underneath there, the mask. So I know that some of my stuff is going to be saved, but I still, you know, don't want to rely on some of that too much. I want to make sure that I still keep some of my strokes so that I still have some of that variation of the light and the dark, even on my own, just in case. think about how your grasses are going. Give yourself some variation as I'm bending these grasses over. Okay. And this is where the shadow starts to come, okay, across here. So this is the last line of the highlights running across here. And I do need to come back over here with this yellow ochre and kind of give this a little more of a yellow ochre look through here too. Now, down in here, let's switch to my ultramarine because I want this to be a little darker. So I'm going to darken these areas up a little bit more with this ultramarine blue, because this is like one of those areas where there's a break in the land and it's nice and darker. So I'm going to put this ultramarine blue here in order to give us this much darker area. I'm going to put a little bit back here too. Give us this nice blue shadow here. Give us a little bit better of a break here. A little bit more shadowy stuff going on. Okay, there we go. Now that's a little bit better. Okay, there we go. And we're still fighting against this stuff here, over here, but I'm hoping that I can get this to balance out now. Okay, so just keep it going back and forth here. Pay attention to your textures on your actual image. Come back in with your indigo. Because remember, your information is actually on your image. So keep an eye on your image as to where everything is, how everything's laid out. It will tell you how everything should be. Now I'm seeing, is that the color I want? Yep. Got a little crimson lake in here. Some of those little stand-up brushy things. Okay, more of this dark stuff underneath here. And I'm keeping it loose. I'm really keeping it loose here. I'm just enjoying the squiggles, because I mean the grass is so free form at this point, you know. It's almost an abstraction at this point with everything that it's, because it's just a mass of color. And texture. Okay, again, big strokes. Now that we're getting up here, okay, back down here to the blue. Trying to work some dark colors down in the bottoms here. Now I've got my blue violet. Let me check that. Yeah, that'll work for me. Let's get some dark pieces in here. So remember, this is all in shade from here to here. From here to here down. So this needs to be much darker than any of this up here. Well, in theory at least. Okay, don't want to rub that off yet. Okay. So we've been working this for a little bit. Let's go ahead and water this in. So remember, we started all the way back here, so that's where we start with our water. So got our nice big brush, got our water, got our tissue paper here to work it with. Let's work off a little bit of that. So we've got some of that yellow back here. Now remember, we had this texture here and we want to keep that, so we go back and forth to help maintain that texture. Okay. Oh, one thing I forgot. Let's do that before I get too much farther along. We needed to add some of these kind of yellows in